Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Joe Kuzma and Brian E. Roach.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Steel City Underground podcast. My name is Joe Kuzma. Joining me by my side as he's giggling and chuckling for this kind of add-on show, my friend and pal, and one Mr. Brian E. Roach. I can't even say your name, Brian. We got anything left after the insanity that was mock draft insanity?
I don't know. I would hold the fresh sarcasm sign up, but I'm afraid it'll make a gong and we'll have to start over again. I would do something else, but then you'll say something and we'll have to start over again. I don't want to start over again because it's just insanity.
Yes. Yeah, that's the last time we'll probably be using that graphic until next year. But if you happen upon this episode straight before our previous one, we did the annual mock draft insanity where Brian has set up all of these crazy scenarios of which the Steelers end up with like 30 draft picks in every player under the sun that you can imagine outside of the top 10. For the mock drafts. But what we didn't do in that episode that we're going to do in this one is we're actually going to look a little more realistically at, we just like looking at how broken the draft simulators are. And you can see just about, how true that is. You're about to find it some more now as we hop on the Pro Football Focus 2024 NFL mock draft simulator. We're going to do a full 7 rounds, maybe multiple times. We won't drag this out too much, but we might lay the groundwork, at least the foundation for, like, what do we do in this spot? What might the Steelers do? Do we want to do something different? I've already gotten...
I don't know.
Yeah, I've gotten 2 mock drafts already up on the website, Brian. I know you really haven't done one, but this will count as yours. Maybe I'll do one. Maybe you'll do one. Maybe we'll do like a combo here because we'll have our arguments. So I guess let's start this off with, do we want to go, where do the Steelers want to go? Like, I did this one draft and I was able to just go right tackle or center or whatever everyone's looking at. And I can hear, I hear 4 legs in the background.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
The dog has come to visit.
I thought so. That's why I was stumbling a little bit. I thought we were going to, I thought we were going to get your furry friend here on camera. And I was kind of holding for you. We didn't get it.
I was trying. Didn't work out.
The amount of outtakes that we have had between the mock draft insanity and this other show pre-draft, we should almost make like a comedy reel out of this. It's a real Three Stooges type. I don't want to call it stupidity, but hilarity that,
there he is.
Hey, we got him. So
a big
almost
old fuzzball.
Yeah, just a little bit, and he's gone.
Get out of here, you dumbass.
He's not camera ready. So, anyways, we're gonna run a few mocks here.
Yeah.
Where do you think the Steelers go realistically first? Is it going to be an offensive lineman? Is it a center? Is it a tackle? Does it have to be a right tackle? Would it be a left tackle? Or do they go somewhere else? Some people think wide receiver. I've even seen some smoke with corner.
I think the first draft pick will be an offensive lineman. I would prefer it to be a center. That's just my personal preference. I'm leaning more towards thinking they'll actually take a tackle. But tackle, center, that's what I think. I don't think it will be a defensive position, and I don't think it's going to be a wide receiver.
Yeah, I have a hard time thinking that they would throw a rookie wide receiver out there with like Calvin Austin and George Pickens and just leave everything to chance. But I do think they could still leave it to chance with center. Like, you're thinking maybe, okay, there's a lot of the draft visits and stuff. It's all the top tackles. They take a tackle, come back around round 2, round 3, end up with a center. But there's also a train of thought, let's lock this position down for the next decade. Hopefully you get a guy that's like a Hall of Fame caliber, like a Marquise Pouncey, and you ain't got to worry about it. And you need this player to be able to snap the ball, lock down the interior of the line for 2 quarterbacks that are brand new here in Pittsburgh as well. You can't just be throwing it at their shins and their ankles, which was a big problem for whoever was playing quarterback last season when Mason Cole was just throwing them in the dirt. Didn't help anybody. Didn't help Pickett. Didn't help Trubisky. Didn't help even Mason Rudolph. We saw it all season long. Didn't matter. It was inconsistent. We've also seen when the Steelers hold out and wait until like the 3rd round, they got Kendrick Green. That was no bueno either, my friend. Yeah. So, but on the tackle end, we have discussed they have a starter already. You may not be in love with Dan Moore Jr., but he is there. And like the corner position where they traded for Dante Jackson from the Carolina Panthers, they have 2 corners. They have 2 offensive tackles. Now, we preface this by last year's first-round pick was Broderick Jones, who should be playing on the left side, but hasn't been. So in order to get him back over to, let's say, his natural position, it would behoove the Steelers to maybe take 1 or 2 of the top right tackles right here in the first round, but they don't necessarily need to. So hence the need for us, or I'd say just the idea of running several of these just to see, based on this Pro Football Focus board, like the way we've got this set up, it's all the default settings. There's a public versus PFF board, positional value, draft for needs, randomness, 7 rounds. I'm going to hit enter draft, Brian, and we could just have at it. I will tell you that you swayed me towards Graham Barton in my one mock draft. And you go on steelcityunderground.com and read all of those picks and some of the analysis, because, hey, he's probably not going to play tackle at this next level in the NFL. A lot of people look at him as, oh, it's a very important point, too, to have. Center might become more important in this draft. This is something I hadn't really thought about. And I was listening to one of these minds or several of these minds over on the NFL radio, and they said, who's the top guard prospects in this draft? And there's almost silence, because you don't have, like, let's say, like the David DeCastro, for example, that's sitting out there that's going to be the top head of this class. There's not like a top tier guard. You know, the top tier guards are? They're all the centers. Yeah. So it's Graham Barton, it's Jackson Powers Jackson Powers Johnson. It's maybe Zach Frazier, but he might be the one that actually ends up playing center first. The first 2 guys might be playing interior, just like Landon Dickerson is, or Quinn Miners has been in previous drafts. Or you notice James Daniels was drafted as a center back when he was, and he's not been playing center in the pros either. So it's a very important distinction when we're trying to weigh in, is that the center is very likely are going to end up being more, not center, but interior offensive lineman. We also got to look at who else is drafting directly behind the Steelers here, right? We just mentioned Landon Dickerson with the Eagles, could be playing center, but what if they evaluate him? They see him the last couple of years and said, he's not a center. They got Jason Kelsey, who's walking away from the game, retiring. They have a need there. Connor McGovern, still injured for the Miami Dolphins. So not unsigned. They did sign the guy that was from Tennessee, but I'm hearing that they like him more as, guess what? Interior offensive line, playing guard, because that's really where he was playing, and then he was kind of forced into playing center. Yep. So Dolphins have needed offensive line too. This is pick 21 to the Dolphins, 22 to Eagles, 24 right behind Dallas Cowboys. And the Dallas Cowboys don't have Tyler Biadasz. He's signed with Tennessee, I think, to replace Brewer. So we're trying to follow like all the free agent moves. Just like the Steelers, they have a hole, they have a need right there at the center position. There's also a lot of talk if Tyler Smith's going to end up playing tackle there, or whether they move him over to a guard. So do they draft one of these guys to be a guard and then get a center? Do they draft a tackle and then get a center? So they have a lot of the same needs. And we know Jerry Jones, he likes his fast wide receivers, but he also loves building those great offensive lines and protecting his multi-million-dollar investment in Dak Prescott, as well as being able to punish people and run the football. So I don't think Jerry's going to get too disenchanted at that position at 24, and they have shown the propensity to pull the trigger and take a center like they did with Travis Frederick at like 16 or 17 overall several years ago, and that worked out pretty well for them when they did. So that'll be sitting in the back of their mind. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at 26, and they also have a need perhaps too. Now they have the other guy that's already there, Robert Hainsey, I believe, and he's been forced into action to play center when who just got Ryan Jensen. He got a big deal, and then he's been hurt the last couple of years. And now he's finally retiring. So there are teams that are going to need this interior offensive line, and if they don't snap it up in the first round, you come back around to teams like the Bears, the Commanders, the Cardinals are going to need help there as well. New York Giants, they still need help along their line. Chargers, any of these teams that are in this top 10, they need help all along their roster. So all of this, is speculative. I say let's enter the draft unless you got a few more thoughts on that stuff, Brian.
Let's do it.
Here we go. And we're on turbo.
That's the way to be. Just start it up.
Sorry, I thought I had already done that, but we want to see who's gone first just to give us an idea, or go right off the board, because we're going to be looking for somebody maybe. So usual suspects: Caleb Williams, Drake May, JJ McCarthy third, Marvin Harrison, Joe Alt, Jaden Daniels, Roma Dunzier, Malik Neighbors, Oli Fashno at 9. That's an interesting one. We don't always see him in the top 10 in some of these mocks. Yeah. Fuaga, Mitchell, Dallas Turner. There it goes. Jumps all the way down the page like it did before. This thing is so finicky. Terry and Arnold, Jared Verse. Get you back on the screen here. This is good. You got some edge rushers. You got some defensive line players. Brock Bowers, he could be going before the Steelers are on the clock. A lot of people think he could end up with the Bengals because they have not had like that true tight end weapon on that team for many, many years. Let's see. Latu goes to the Seahawks. Fontenot, Brian Thomas Jr., and Byron Murphy. So this leaves the Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock. Pick 20. Cooper DeJean. Yep. Jerzon Newton, J.C. Latham, Amarius Mims, Adonai Mitchell, Graham Barton, Nate Wiggins, Floyd McKinstry, Jackson Powers Johnson, Troy Franklin, Peyton Wilson. Pretty much the top 10 of this list.
This is where you take a gamble, right? So if Latham is there, and remember in mock draft insanity he went much higher. If Latham is there, I think this is a guy who's a seasoned, true right tackle, right? This is the guy that lets you move Broderick Jones back over to the left and isn't necessarily a guy with low snap count like Mims, and is a nasty mauler of a guy. I think if Latham falls to them at 20, I don't think they can get to the podium fast enough to take it.
Okay, we're going to do a little bit of maths with Joe. We've got 874 snaps in the last 2 seasons with Latham, okay? When you compare that to Amarius Mims, who's the 20th overall ranked offensive lineman, or I should say by offensive tackle position, by PFF, okay? When you go to Mims, like I said before on the Draft Insanity show, 297, 383, and 121. My quick math skills to deduce that to 801 snaps in the last 3 collegiate seasons. Even though he's a large mammoth man, when I saw that, I started thinking to myself, Mike Tomlin's usually a guy that wants somebody with more experience, and the best ability is availability. Mims being as large as he is. Remember how much we were all over DeJuan Jones and thought much higher of him than what he went. Then he went to Cleveland. It doesn't mean he didn't play poorly with the Browns or anything like that. But as far as draft position, he might like fall out, not only out of the first round, but deep into the second. So, but if you get Latham, like we were saying, Latham's over 1,700 snaps in the last 2 seasons, and then he played a little bit of guard the year before that. You also have Graham Barton that's sitting here somewhere on the list as well. Right? Yeah,
both Barton and Jackson Powers Johnson are there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and here's the risk that you're taking. If you do this, you're not getting Barton and you're not getting Johnson. But maybe you're going to get Zach Frazier. Maybe. Yes.
Okay.
So it's like if you take Latham, that's your gamble.
Wide receiver off the board. There's already 4 of them gone. It's not exactly where I'm looking. But the Steelers, they looked at Mims, Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver from Texas. Graham Barton was in for a visit. So was Nate Wiggins, corner from Clemson. If they're going to look at a defensive back, it's probably either going to be Wiggins or the top guy available on this board, Cooper DeJean. As I mentioned in the Insanity show, he's a football player. He might be playing safety. It might, they still need a slot corner. I think there's some areas that could find that in the 3rd round. Let's go with Latham for this particular exercise, and we can see what is yielded to us next. It gives us a little more analysis so we don't have to talk about every single pick going forward. As we head into the 2nd round, some things have changed. And we may have gambled a little too much. Let's see what ended up happening after the Steelers picked all the way up here at 20. Mims went to the Dolphins, Barton to the Eagles. A trade This one got bounced around. Let's see. Well, of course, the Vikings were there at 23. I think they have 23 and like 11 or 9 or something overall, right?
Yeah.
They've got 2 picks, so never mind.
23 and 11.
But they get Penix. They were looking for a quarterback. DeJean going to the Cowboys, I think, might be a little randomness. I don't know their draft needs off the top of my head. Tyler Guyton was in that list too. Darius Robinson, Nate Wiggins, Jerzon Newton, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Chop Robinson, Rogers Rosengarten, Adonai Mitchell to the Chiefs, Ladd McConkey to the Panthers. Boy, let me tell you, Ladd McConkey and Deontay Johnson, that just almost seems like two little similar there, maybe. Xavier Worthy, another kind of slot guy, and then Xavier Leggett, South Carolina, goes to the Arizona Cardinals. I would have probably liked him in a Steelers uniform. I don't know about second round, but we'll see where these guys fall to.
The damn Panthers.
Yep. Kingsley Suamataya, the BYU tackle, I can't say his name. Kamari Lassiter, corner out of Georgia. Max Belton, corner out of Rutgers, who I really liked. And Zach Frazier, the center out of West Virginia at 39, just missed out on him. And Jackson Powers Johnson goes 41 to the Packers. So this is another one. The Packers aren't a team. They've got a center. They've got a guy that's under contract at least for another year. And it just kind of, I don't know where the real need is there. I don't know if that's just draft analyst type speak or if this is a real like thing that they're going to go and target a center. Troy Franklin to the Texans. Doesn't seem like they need yet another wide receiver at this point after Stephon Diggs. They got Tank Dell. They've got Nico Collins.
Yeah, here's the thing I've learned about PFF's draft simulator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's got a little AI now with it, and it'll tell you, oh, you should take this person because they're a better positional value. It doesn't care what they have on their team right now. It just looks and says, hey, this guy's better than that guy, or this guy is a better positional value guy. I know you've got 17 wide receivers on your board and you've already taken 3, but this guy's better. You should take this wide receiver. It's dumb.
Yes. It is very stupid. Okay. So what we've got, even Keon Coleman's off the board. Bo Nix, Patrick Paul, Roman Wilson, Jonathan Brooks, Isaac, the other edge rusher out of Penn State, Jalen Polk, wide receiver Washington to the Bengals, Enos Rakeshaw, the Missouri corner to the Eagles. So what we have available to us is top of the board, Peyton Wilson, the linebacker from NC State. But let's see, Tyler Nubin, safety Minnesota, Jordan Morgan, tackle Arizona, Jatavian Sanders, tight end Texas, Brayton Fisk, interior defensive lineman, Florida State, Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver Florida, Devon Bullard, safety Georgia, Chris Jenkins, defensive lineman from Michigan, TJ Champa, corner from Iowa State. I could keep scrolling a little more.
Yeah, we're not going to go down.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go too far. I mean, Malachi Corley sitting there, wide receiver from Western Kentucky, probably would not be there.
If you're going wide receiver here, you're taking Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, I would think so.
It's either Pearsall or go back to that list again up there. There was another guy on there.
Was it Roman Wilson by any chance? Let me see.
No, it's Braden Fisk. It's either Braden Fisk or
Pearsall.
Pearsall.
Yeah.
At this point, Fisk. I like Fisk. I would be fine. It's good value, but probably wide receiver is a bigger need.
So here's your interior offensive lineman. You have Christian Haynes out of Connecticut, Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State, Mason McCormick from South Dakota State, Cedric Van Pran from Georgia.
And here's what you're doing. You're targeting Van Pran either at 84 or 98 at this point.
Yeah, that's what you're going to have to do. Let him fall. Wide receiver wise, we said Pearsall probably best on the board, Malachi Corley, and then you kind of go down the list as it may be. And what other position could we probably look at right here? Probably corner, I would say, maybe corner. And you got TJ
Tampa. Yeah.
Andrew Phillips, corner out of Kentucky. There's a lot of smoke to that fire. And Melton is already gone. And they're kind of comparable players that are sitting there. So are we going Ricky Pearsall or are we going Fisk? I'm thinking maybe Fisk. it's kind of tough to say.
You're not gonna make me upset if you take Fisk. So
I understand, and he kind of Fisk, he's not playing, like, he's not a nose tackle. He's not playing straight over center. He's got a lot of snaps that are over B gap. He got a couple that are over tackle. So you take a look at, let me see, 6'5", 297. He's right in kind of that same kind of target category of like a Cam Hayward sized player. If we were to look at Ricky Pearsall, let's see, 6'1", 192. Not the biggest guy in the world, but more of a slot receiver type. And you take a look at where he's lined up. He does take some snaps a little bit outside the boundary here if you look at that. So I do think, though, wide receiver, maybe they could land somebody a little later if they don't make a trade for somebody like Brandon Ayuk from the 49ers.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think you're putting Pearsall out there as a starter right away. I don't know that he's going to make the impact that George Pickens or Juju Smith-Schuster did. I don't know anybody from this point forward on this board is going to have that same kind of impact. The Steelers are going to be stuck unless they get somebody that's a camp casualty that gets cut before the season starts from another team, or they do identify and make some type of trade either now or later. So is it Braden Fisk? I think is what
Braden Fisk
talking ourselves into. It's going to fly down the list. I don't know if you're going to get the same level. Oh, now see, I kind of like where we're at now, but we've already taken a tackle. Yeah, because Blake Fisher's a guy that they have identified as part of this process. Got this one safety out of USC, Jalen McMillan, another wide receiver, edge rusher, Houston Christian. Gets a little ugly in here. Another wide receiver, Malik Washington. We're probably looking to see Mason McCormick is still there. You're probably still looking for Van Pran, but what do you want to do with this pick? Because for all intents and purposes, you got 84 and 98. Van Pran should still be there if you were to go a different direction.
All right, what do we got at the top of this list? What's the corner that's the best corner that's left on the list?
Okay, let's have a look at this. That's what I was thinking, but Phillips is probably gone.
Phillips is gone. It's Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon, or the guy from Green. I mean, the problem is you're starting to get like, okay, this is a little early for him. Not a lot, 87, 83. That's where we're at. I'd probably just take the corner because you probably are not going to get. You're risking it, right? You either take Cedric Van Pran here, knowing you're overdrafting him potentially, and hope it works out, right? Or you take the corner and you hope that he's there at 100.
Yeah, well, both of these guys, Jackson and Green, are both press coverage type guys too, so they might be a good pairing. Now, I'd probably go with Jackson because he's 6'3", and you can't teach 6'3". So,
yeah, let's do that then.
Okay, I'm with you here, and let's see if Van Pran comes around to us. McCormick is there.
All right, there you go.
Right. Jeremiah Trotter.
You take Cedric Van Pran here at 98, and now you're just doing fill-in the rest of the way.
Not necessarily. Let me see who's here when you get down to, let's see, 119 isn't exactly filler for me. I've got somebody. Okay.
There you go. Right there.
I've got a couple players that are definitely in mine. Okay, so I've talked about this. This is one of the Steelers' draft top 30 visits, Matt Goncalves. Now, he was a local visit too, so he didn't count towards anything as far as their top 30. Would they have still had him in if he wasn't a local guy? Maybe not. 6'6", 330. He did have an ACL, but now they've got time. What they don't have right now is maybe a swing tackle. Your backup is Dan Moore Jr. It's probably somebody I would try and trade because they probably don't like him. They've never shown any reason why they've liked to play him on the right side. If you have an injury and it's to the right side, you'd have to move Broderick Jones back over. You're assuming already that Latham, who we took in the first round, is playing on the right. Now you got to shift puzzle pieces around, or you take somebody that has played both sides in college football. We take a look at the snap counts for Goncalves. Only 165 as a left tackle, but he split almost nearly in 2022. 302 on the left side, 525. Over 850 snaps total playing as an offensive tackle. Now, that's just one player that I like here and in the 4th round, and right on the money too, Brian. He is a rank of 120 at pick 119. What I want to find is, let me take a look at, we have not taken a wide receiver, correct? Or did we?
No, we did not.
So we passed on Pearsall.
Yep.
So at 129 sitting here that, probably wouldn't be around at 178, Taj Washington, USC. And Taj Washington, 5'10", 175. He's not exactly, he's a slot receiver, another slot receiver size. But you're talking about replacing Deontay Johnson possibly. Maybe you do that just with Calvin Austin. But this guy's nasty. This is a guy that's out there and he's a willing blocker. He wants to knock people down. Now, the other one that I wanted, right in the same frame, you got the bloodlines. We were talking about this, Luke McCaffrey. I just think he has Steeler written all over him. He's got a rank of 146. Does he get down to 178? We will find out. I may double dip on the offensive line, but Goncalves is never going to see playing time if we take him in the 4th round anyways. But if you're looking at this as a best player available for what you had it needs, and you need a tackle, and let's say you have an injury or you take Latham or your Broderick Jones, knock on wood, were to get hurt, now you may have a little bit of an insurance policy. This is the 4th round pick. This is their 5th pick overall. So you've already had a 1st, 2nd, and 2 3s. I don't see any harm in doing so. They've already got potential center. There isn't. You got Tommy Eichenberg. You want Tommy Eichenberg at this spot?
No, I do not.
No, I do not want Tommy Eichenberg. I'm not feeling it. We were all about Steel Chambers and the insanity draft in the 6th round, but that's a little different. So you want to go with Goncalves? He usually shows up here in most of this. I think we are safe in going with this, and let's see what we got for the last 2. And we're gonna have time for at least one more of these, and maybe we'll tweak some of the settings. But at 178,
yes, we will.
178, you want Jordan Travis, quarterback out of Florida State? Okay, never mind. Got Steel Chambers.
There he is. It's time. Take him. Steel Chambers.
You don't want the punter out of Iowa?
No. Steel Chambers. Not making that mistake again.
Where does Michael Hall fall? I think Michael Hall,
he was much earlier. He was like in the 3rd round or something.
He might be. I don't know where he's going to end up in this draft, but
yeah, neither do I.
Okay, last pick 195, where we really get into the thick of things.
What's up at the top?
Yeah,
find a wide receiver. Just pick the best wide receiver.
Yeah,
we didn't take one yet.
It's going to be tough, and for a team that hasn't taken any and has a need at this position, we may have fumbled this one.
There you go, Casey Washington. We're done.
We really think so? I mean, it's no, but he's the best one that's there. UTSA, is that Tulsa or Texas?
University of
the Road Runners. I can't remember who the hell that is now.
South America.
That's not South America. 6'3", 185. That's what I look at. Plays I don't know. Bub Means, wide receiver.
Go back and take the quarterback. That's the top guy.
The top quarterback. You're gonna take
the quarterback right there. Jordan Travis. Just take him.
Okay. Let's see what we get graded. That's gonna be funny.
Like a D. Well, it's probably better than a D. Not by much.
Yeah. To University of Texas, San Antonio.
I
don't know why I said Tulsa. Tulsa is just Tulsa.
I don't
They're
like
just
the first
Tulsa.
line says he's not an athlete.
I know. It's immediately, yeah. I'm going to take this one guy from Pro Football Focus's word on that.
Yeah, he's not an athlete. There you go.
All right. We ended up with...
oh, they wanted us to draft Peyton Wilson. Oh, well.
Yeah, how about that? J.C. Latham is an A. Braden Fisk, B+. Is going to be a mixed bag. So we've got...
Looks like a B+ overall. Huh?
2 tackles, yeah. Got 2 tackles. Got the interior defensive lineman, maybe the future beyond Cam Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi. You got Kyrie Jackson, corner. Then extra linebacker help and quarterback. You can always this team will always use linebackers.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So I feel decent about that. You got one more in you, my friend, or multiple?
One more. We'll do a quick one.
One more. Okay, here we go.
Don't hit new mock draft, and then we're gonna tweak some stuff.
All right. Let's see what we're gonna do.
All right, go down to the bottom one.
Randomness.
Tweak that, take that all the way over to the left.
You want that much randomness?
Complete randomness.
No, not draft for needs, huh?
Yeah. The rest of it, I don't care. You can leave it the same, or you can change anything else.
You want to go all 7? You want to go to 4?
4 rounds. Let's do 7. Let's do 7.
Really?
Yeah, trust me.
Okay.
We'll just zoom through it. We're not gonna waste time. We're just gonna take what's here in this draft. Whatever the top pick is, that's what we're taking.
Okay. Oh man,
Maybe.
I thought I still had Zach's lightning bolt for the lightning round, but I no longer have that graphic. So we're just gonna
no lightning bolt.
Well, this one gets interesting. Not that this is a necessary, that this is a need, but Brock Bowers fell.
No, we're not taking him. I lied. We're not taking the top pick then.
No,
go down to the first tackle.
Hey, I did take the Gene in my something different draft. I also traded for Ayuk. So, boy, Fuaga's still. This is what the hell happened at the beginning of this draft, dude? Latu, Lassiter, Chop Robinson. The randomness is all over. You're right. Nate Wiggins is higher on this one. Dallas Turner goes.
Marvin Harrison goes 7.
Look at this. Brian Thomas Jr. goes before Marvin Harrison.
That's just drunkenness.
That is the insanity. So that's why all the tackles are available.
Yeah. And let's
Fuaga?
Man. Let's go Fuaga.
Is Fontenot? Fontenot's not there. I think Fontenot would be the guy. Went. Yeah. You want Fuaga?
Or Fashanu. I don't care.
Fashanu is, I believe, just
if he's a left tackle, then I don't want him.
Yeah, he's a left tackle.
All right.
Yeah. I get confused with all the F guys, but I know Fontenot, I'm pretty sure, is position flexible. Only might be 2 from Penn State. Hey, guess who's still here at 51? I mean,
but take Jackson Powers Johnson.
Oh, that's so tough. If Cooper Tagine is there at 51, there ain't no way in hell I'm not running to the podium. I'm sorry. It's just
Johnson. I'm not doing it.
I will say, hey, you know what? I know I will, because then you get your center. You get that's a hell of a combo there. That is an offensive line and an F. But let me preface this with saying, how old's Deshaun Elliott? We need to look at that because DeMonte Casey's already 31, right?
Yep.
And I think Elliott may have just hit his 30s. Let me take a look at this real quick because we were talking about this. Okay, he was a 6th rounder, 2018. It gets him. Okay, so he's only 27. He's still younger guy. I don't know exactly what they had such a problem at safety. I could see the same thing. They go through all of these guys again, wiped out, and you're playing like Elijah Riley or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looking for like an Eric Rowe. I bring Eric Rowe back, but I could see why maybe they didn't. Maybe they're looking. Maybe they're sitting here like me and saying, "Take the kid from Iowa." But we're gonna go with the center, and perhaps has an argument of being the best one in this class. At 51, you can't go wrong. I think with either one of those picks. They addressed. Ooh, right. Now this gets interesting. Wow. Troy Franklin. Now this is where like I was poking fun at McConkey, probably more like slot type guy. And like, no, first round, this is stupid with this type of draft. Even like a 2nd round pick. You get into pick 84 and McConkey's there, I would be okay with this. Troy Franklin at pick 84 seems like this is necessary. People are also going to want Penix too. Yeah, I think it is. Just, I mean, Pearsall's still here. Most of the likely targets. Xavier Leggett's still on the board here. Then you got to imagine Malachi Corley's still on here. Do you think he's gone? He's not there. Let me see the wide receiver list real quick. McConkey, Wilson. Yeah, dude. He went ahead of some of these other guys, which the randomness, that could happen. Another position you want to look at. Let's just see what's here for corners. Now, Phillips is still there, so it means Max Melton's out too. And these are most of your, later round guys that are sitting around. Yeah. So people really, they went really heavy. But I think with Troy Franklin, I wanted to look up his 40 time too, because let's see here. 40 time. I wanted to say he was like, I don't want to have the wrong words in my mouth, but I wanted to say he had one of the fastest times. He had a 4.35. That was the reported time. I was looking to see if the NFL.com site has anything differently. They have him at a 4.41 as far as the combine results, but still, that's fast. That's fast, dude. So Okay. We are going to go with Troy Franklin, I think. Are we in agreement?
I think we are in agreement.
All right. And McConkey's still
And
there.
now you can
Penix.
take Lad McConkey. You're good. Now you got them
Are you
both.
going to double up?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you?
Because because part of me still wants to wait and get McCaffrey's kid, even though he's not the same. You can still get Cedric Van Pran still down there too. So you want to get McConkey?
Yep.
You can get Michael Penix Jr. Remember, both of these quarterbacks are only under contract for 1 year, and you could get Michael Penix with the 98th pick.
Bet we can get him with 119 too.
You think he's going to fall to 119?
Just making a guess.
We already got a wide receiver.
I want another one.
Okay. I'll make you happy, Brian. I'm doing this in protest. I would have took Penix by this point. Because there's, oh my goodness, that is ridiculous.
But I tell you,
you know
I've done
how
this
screwed
enough.
this is.
I know who's going to be there.
Yeah, I know. Ain't that right? At this point, at 119, can you go wrong?
You take him, but I guarantee you, if we didn't, he'd been there at 179 or whatever the next pick is.
Okay,
but take him now.
Can we do it with an asterisk and see if he still falls?
No.
We'll take.
I have taken him in the 6th round before. So
that really. You know what we need for that, my friend?
Insanity. My new favorite thing in the whole world.
Oh, these are a few of my favorite things. This is gonna wrap it for us right here. We got 2 more picks.
TJ
Tampa.
DJ Tampa.
Why the hell is he still sitting there?
Because it's stupid.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you.
And now you take the edge guy. Take the 58th ranked player, an edge guy
from Alabama. No less.
Go ahead, take him. Take him now.
You know what? That's out of curiosity. It's like, yeah, a guy with 13 sacks is just going to. I knew he was in double digits, but I didn't know where. Braswell is just going to be.
Sitting around at 195.
I will lose my shit if this were the draft, like the actual draft, because
bet we get an A+ on this one.
Dude, this isn't. Dare I say it? Insanity! I don't have it set up for mine, so maybe I can. Oh boy. So, all right. I'm getting here to the. Nope. No, I'm not. I'm actually going to. I don't know what happened. Oh well. I was looking to put it on. I think I can put it on like both of us at the same time. No, maybe not. There we go. Insanity. Here's the insanity coming right at you. Great job. That's a good looking draft.
What a surprise.
Shocking, folks. Talise Fuaga, Oregon State, A+. Jackson Powers Johnson, A+. Troy Franklin, A+. Lad McConkey, A+. Penix Jr., A+. TJ Tampa, A+. Chris Braswell, A+. Overall draft grade, A+. This is top 1% of the draft.
Go from the top. All right. At the 20th pick, we took the 13th top prospect. At 51, we took 27. At 84, we took 29. At 98, we took 32. 119, 36, 51, and then 58. Every pick we took was a top 60 player, and we took them throughout the whole draft.
Yeah, I'm telling you that. You know what's wild is you're talking about the AI and stuff. We fed the AI like, well, he had really bad whatever scores. He didn't test well. We found a bag of weed under his pillow.
Yes.
Whatever these picks were, we fed them a whole lot of lines. So, well, Brian, we're at that point where you and I got to put our money where our mouth is. Who do you think the first round pick is? I know, right?
I will tell you, my heart says Barton.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I think, like, if Powers Johnson's there and Barton's gone, maybe it's Jackson Powers Johnson. if Barton is there, they love position flexibility so much. He's a guy that can absolutely move into a starting role at the center. He can, if they decide he's not the center of the future, he can move out to one of the guards if one of our guards drifts away, or calls it a career. I just think it's going to be somebody like that. I can't rule out a tackle. The problem is I got no idea which one is going to be there, right? Other than maybe Mims. And I'm along with you. It's like, I think they like Mims. I think Broderick Jones is probably stomping for Mims. But I don't know.
Yeah, you know where it is? It's where I was last year. I say Joey Porter Jr. with the first pick. I could live with it, but it would be nice if you got him in the second round. And that's where I am with Mims. Like, I'm not going to crap all over Mims. I would still like him, but I feel like there's enough there where you can't have 61st round picks and everybody has these guys like all penciled in these different spots. Right. So that's where I'm at. I like this draft right here. I don't think Fuaga will be there at 20. It's the same reason I didn't pick Broderick Jones last year, but they moved up. So you got somebody that can play a true right tackle. I'm okay with that. And then swing back around and maybe, never know, JPJ could still be there. I doubt it after all the teams that we mentioned. Do you think two of them gone? Barton, it would break my heart if Barton's gone and then Zach Frazier's the pick. That's fine with me.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. But then now you don't have any wide receiver. But I don't think they're going to take a realistic shot maybe at like a Donnie Mitchell, Xavier Leggett out of South Carolina. They basically looked at guys through the first 4 rounds. So, like, will Leggett actually be there at 51? Would he be the pick? If they take a tackle and they still don't have a starting center, where does that leave you? It's the same thing we said, like Kendrick Green. It
means you're going for Cedric Van Pran, and if that's the guy you're targeting, and
then he's gone.
Somebody in one of the comments was like, oh, you guys are missing on Van Pran. He's going to be the guy. He could be. Don't get me wrong. It's just you've got the potential to take a guy that in most cases everybody is in agreement is going to be an outstanding player, and you're taking a risk. That's all. Taking a risk.
And the other guys I like I said, Cooper DeJean, Nate Wiggins. If you're going to go secondary first, then everybody loses their mind, and they go then they still don't take a tackle because they still have Dan Moore, and you go with like Goncalves, Blake Fisher from Notre Dame, one of those guys a little later, 3rd or 4th rounds, depending on where they fall, where they settle in. I don't know. They still need a slot corner, somebody could play nickel. I know they were asking questions, of Khan and Tomlin, and they're like, hey, how do you feel about like Darius Rush or Corey Trice? And I don't know if any of those guys fit into that same kind of mold. Maybe they like them enough, but they've got a starter at least with Dante Jackson, right? So maybe at least with Dante Jackson, this affords them to not have to jump at. Now, as far as DeJean, I'm like, DeJean, they're going to find some way to play him and play as a safety, but that doesn't mean they just don't go back after the draft and re-sign Patrick Peterson. I think it's a luxury to maybe go with the secondary, whereas with the offensive line, it's pretty much they need a center. They need a wide receiver too. I just don't know. Are they gonna they're gonna have one of these guys out there, and are they gonna crap the bed? Do they like him enough that they're gonna throw him out there to be a starter? We don't really see it. I mean, we liked Sky Moore a ton, and he's over there at like Kansas City, and it's Kansas City, and he doesn't materialize to the top. And they got George Pickens, luckily enough. And if you just trot George Pickens out there, they're going to be doubling him all day. You got to get somebody. I know Calvin Austin's got straight line speed and whatnot, but they got to find somebody else to bookmark with this guy. And by the time you get to pick 20, 4 of these guys are going to be gone probably for sure. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is gone before that. The top 3 we know are already gone. And then what? You're not going to make a Donnie Mitchell the top pick 20th overall when you're staring in the face of maybe a generational center or tackle. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. And it's not to say even if Brian Thomas fell there that you would, I think I would say maybe make the same comments, maybe to a lesser degree, but I still wouldn't necessarily be happy with it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yep. All right, folks. Well, it's that time. NFL Draft Thursday. It may or may not be live. We'll put something out on social media. If anything, we'll at least have a show.
Make the comments. Comment. Tell us what you want us to do.
Yeah,
you want us to go live? Put them in the comments.
Yeah, it does get to be tough because it's a late night, and we appreciate everyone that does end up watching. Usually it's the West Coast folks. Everybody else goes to bed right after these things are ending at 11 and 12 each night or whatever. So we'll see if we don't have any technical or scheduling hurdles, but we will have programming through the first 2 days of the draft, and then boomerang back around at the tail end after the weekend. We're going to take a look and see what UDFAs and whatever that they end up signing as well. Undrafted free agents for the uninitiated. So anyways, we are initiated. That's 2 big shows coming out for us pre-draft. Hope you enjoyed the extra content here at Steel City Underground. My name's Joe. His name's Brian. Brian, thank you again for your time, everything else. We know you were sick. It's insane, yes, dude. And it's going to be insane because this is unpredictable. We don't really have a firm grip or grasp. Usually, like the Steelers, it'll be like, hey, this is the guy. Najee Harris got Steelers written all over him. Devin Bush got Steelers written all over him. This one's a little more tough. When the pick's made, they won't be like, oh no. I still don't think it'll be a little surprising, kind of like I think like the Broderick Jones. We've honed it in on a few names we've mentioned already, and some of the names that we did mention will probably linger into the second round at the very least. Like I said, you can't have everybody in the green room. It's a packed room as it is. So we're hoping for some of our favorites, just like we got Porter and Keanu Benton last year. So until then, folks, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Until next time, we encourage everyone out there to be safe, be good, and we'll catch you later.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.